Hey everyone, welcome to the Dirty South Project channel. Whether you're watching us on YouTube or IGTV, we just want to give a shout out to everybody who are there to support us, who are there to listen to us. It's very important to us. Now, you're probably wondering what this video is for, or what this series or these episodes are for, and really, they're geared towards competitive athletes. These will be episodes that will revolve around opinions and insights that are reflected of or by the DSP group. But of course, just like anything, you're more than welcome to take what matters to you, take the ones that you can and works best for you, and then just discard the rest. One shoe size does not fit all after all. These will be short videos. We're looking at anywhere from 10, 15 to 20 minutes only. Videos that you can watch while you warm up, maybe while you're eating, driving, or maybe having a cup of coffee. And hopefully that these videos help give you guys insights when it comes to your training, fitness, health, and other things. And with that, we want to get into our pilot episode, the very first episode that we're doing, where right here and right now, we're in the time of COVID-19, the coronavirus, and the world is on lockdown. Locally speaking, in the Philippines, we are on ECQ, and it's very difficult for a lot of people, specifically competitive athletes. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about the direction of competitive athletes now that we're experiencing this worldwide pandemic, a very unique time in the world, in history actually. And first thing, of course, is we're thinking about where we were before the ECQ. And obviously, a lot of us were doing qualifiers, throwdowns were coming up, competitions were coming up. We were preparing for the Open later in the year. We were training daily, sometimes even twice a day. We had access to a box. We had training partners. We were working out with our teams. We were keeping ourselves accountable for everything and anything that we were doing. We had our nutrition in check. We had our sleep in check. We had our recovery in check. I know you guys miss it as much as I do. We had body work done. We saw our physical therapists, our massages. We do miss that, right? And more importantly, we had goals. We had a routine. And we had a very, very specific purpose to our training. Virus hits, all of that gone. The lockdown took us from this world that we were living in, our comfort zone, and just put us out of it. And it forced us to decide whether we were going to fight or we were going to flee. And that puts us to where we are now. Where we are now is basically we're looking for normalcy. We're trying to find it. We are trying to figure out how we're going to train on a daily basis. We're trying to figure out when we're going to train and what are we going to do. We're looking at trying to adapt to our new training environment. We may be used to going to a facility, a very inspiring and motivating environment, especially when we train with others and you're used to that. But now we're confined into certain spaces. Chances are we're training alone. And of course, we have limited equipment. But more importantly, especially if you're emphatic, we're dealing with grief on a worldwide scale, on a scale of the country, to your local communities, to your loved ones, and last but not the least, of course, yourself. It's very important to recognize where we are right now because that's the base of it all. So because of that, a lot of us have really lost motivation. A lot of us have lost a general sense of purpose. And for some, or for most rather, we're dealing with some form or shape of stress and anxiety. And that's absolutely normal because honestly, it's also a state of mind. But I do feel that we can break out of it if we just take the time to assess where we are and just, think about how we can go over the hump. And that's what these videos are about. So I want to be clear in terms of the direction, what lies ahead. And let's talk about first and foremost, as competitive athletes, the reason why we're called competitive athletes, or the reason why you're called competitive athletes, is because you compete. And so talking about competitions, it's the expression of why we train. It's the expression of what we train for. And in all honesty, that's going to be an unknown for now. Regaining normalcy. The ability or the possibility of training in gyms again, training with your training partner, your favorite training partner, your team, your coaches, in person, face to face. that's going to be unknown also. There's just not enough data right now to back up the fact and the possibility of that returning or coming back anytime soon. The sport, the scene, our training, our mindsets, it's just never going to be the same. And that's okay. I think it's very important to recognize that as well. So, how do we move forward? And I think this is where the insights and the value come in today's episode with regards to all of the competitive athletes listening out there. Now that we've sort of established where we were before and where we currently are, these are sort of our insights or the team's insight to help you guys out with dealing with what you guys are currently going through, if you are even going through anything. So the first part for me, for us, is acceptance. We must first accept the situation that we're in and that what the future holds right now is only desirable subjectively but not objectively. We may know what we want in the future, but we don't know if that's going to come true. We don't know if we're going to be able to compete again, not anytime soon. We don't know when that is, how that's going to be, what it's going to be, or what it's going to be like. So right now, it's all just very intangible things. But what we can achieve are more objective things, what we can do with our minds and our bodies. And in a state of lockdown, in a state of quarantine, there are actually ways to work around that. And I'll get more into that in just a bit. The fact of the matter is that, one other thing that we have to accept, right, is that we're not going to be training with each other. You're not going to be face-to-face with your coaches. You're not going to be face-to-face with your training partners and your teams. And that's going to be a big factor because it's what we were used to. We have to realize also on a more personal, an intrinsic level, that what used to fuel us back then is currently uncertain, and of course, it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. If you were very motivated to be in a competition, if you're very motivated to hit the open and go hard, that's all uncertain for now. And because of that, we go into second and important component, principle. We must now find purpose. And if not finding purpose, we have to repurpose ourselves. We must understand the intention of our training and define what it means for you to stay fit. Basically, we want to put a measure on how or why you want to do it. And something that if you hadn't done this right after the lockdown was announced, maybe you should take a look into it right away. We should either create new goals or recreate the old goals that we set for ourselves before. When it comes to finding purpose, a common thing, something that's very clear for us, is a common thing that is between anybody who goes into fitness, whether you're a competitive athlete or you're just a regular Joe putting in the work, is that everybody has this deep-rooted and driven desire to be better. But what sets competitive athletes apart or different is that each one has this need or this deeper desire to be excellent at what they do. So with that, my challenge for you guys, as you guys are finding your purpose and repurposing yourselves, is to be extraordinary. Now, you have to be extraordinary, but you also have to be very deliberate with what. At everything, that's too vague. At things that will feed your mind, body, and soul, it's a bit too general. You have to be specific. You have to be absolute, and you have to write it down too, so that you speak it into the world and you're not just keeping it in your mind where your memories are fleeting, so that your intentions are not fleeting as well. Damn. And once you've taken the time to figure it out, it's time to, obviously, execute. You have to put things into action. But it's important also for us to use our time wisely. Now, before anybody feels like, oh, Coach Job, we're in a pandemic, it's not everybody has to use their time wisely. I want to be clear about something. There is wisdom in sleep. There is wisdom in recovery. There is wisdom in doing absolutely nothing. There's wisdom in doing other things than training that brings you happiness, in caring for your mental health just as much as you are caring for your physical health. So don't feel bad when I say that you have to use your time wisely, where I'm forcing you to be productive. That's not the only meaning to it. If your mind is telling you that you need to rest, if your body is telling you that you need to rest, and you listened and you took 3 days off, a week off, a day off, whatever it is, to really be silent, be still, and focus on resting, then there's wisdom there. And you used your time wisely. Don't use every opportunity to train just your body, but you have to train your mind as well. We get so caught up in what we're doing, if it's too much, if it's enough, and if your body doesn't feel wrecked enough, that you need to do more. And that's a problem. It's not healthy if you don't have that healthy relationship with your body and your mind, when your mind's telling your body to stop already and it's not listening, or your body's telling the mind that I need more time to be silent, or just I need you to cooperate. If there's no healthy relationship, it's not going to be sustainable. And we want sustainability, because sustainability equals consistency, and consistency delivers results. You want to try more tips, right? Or insights. Think about developing yourself. You can read, you can watch videos, you can listen to podcasts. These are all development movements. These are all towards that growth mindset, which we truly support. And moving forward as athletes, we have a lot of time on our hands right now, and it's a great direction to be in for anything that we're currently doing. But more than anything, and especially for those who love working out on a daily basis or who have that motivation to work out, you have to be deliberate. When you guys are working out, you have to understand what is the stimulus of your workouts and what is the intention of the workout. You have to strive for that optimal result rather than just, okay, I'm gonna go break a sweat today, right? When you do that, when you put that much quality in your training, then you will get so much value and meaning out of it, rather than just spending an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever time you spend on a day, just putting in the work. We have to recognize, importantly, what is in your control and what is outside of your control. If you have a space to work out, you're lucky. If you don't have any equipment that you may want to use to working out, that's fine. It's not in your control. The more you focus on that, the more stress and anxiety you're gonna have, the more demotivated you're gonna be, the less you're gonna perform, and that's gonna be an issue. So really dial in on the things that are within your control and utilize that. Only that, for now at least. There is a lot of, I know there, at the end of the day, one of the things that people have been asking me also is, so what's the best thing I can do? And I always say, move. Everyday move, whether it's moving in terms of physically working out, moving in terms of like reading, trying to grow yourself. But more importantly, move. As humans, we were designed to do this. We were developed and we were born to do that. No one is designed to stay still the whole time. But there's a lot of value and meaning to being still as well. So that's something I want you guys to practice as well. If you're not currently doing that, whether it's meditation, whether it's just sitting on your couch thinking about nothing, drinking your coffee or your beer or whatever it is, just be still. Silence the mind, silence the body, and see what it does for you. See if you can hear or feel or notice something that you don't normally notice if you're not being still. Be yourself. I think this is very important because right now a lot of us are glued to our phones and our laptops, and we're looking at what everyone is doing. And we're so caught up with what other people are doing, with what other people have, what other people are capable of doing, what they're able to achieve. And we get this false sense of who we are because we're trying to imprint on others. Now that's fine if you find inspiration and motivation in what other people do, but don't let that be what defines you. Whether you feel like you must do this for the day, that for tomorrow, or you felt bad about something that you did in the past, that's perfectly fine. What's important is you understand that this is who you are, you recognize that, and you're comfortable saying that this is me, I accept that. I want you guys to really listen to what your mind, your body, and soul craves for. And once you know that, once you realize what that is, chase after it. Feed it. You have to be, especially at this day and age, at this time right now, in this unique time, unique period of the world, you have to be passionate, but you also have to be compassionate. By being passionate in what we do, whether it's working out, speaking to others, shooting videos, studying, learning, we inspire others. And that's always an admirable thing to do or thing to be. But you also have to be compassionate, because when we're compassionate towards others, not only do we help them grow, but it's also a growth for within. It's an experience that develops a growth that's obviously not measurable, but it's there. And the more we do this, the greater the growth for that growth mindset. And we truly support that as well. Last but not the least, and I encourage everybody to do this on a daily basis if you're not doing it right now, be grateful. Be grateful for a multitude of things. The fact that you woke up, you're alive, you're living each day. Be grateful that you have a roof over your head, you have a healthy mind and a healthy body to work out, train, eat, sleep, whatever it is. Be healthy that you have running water, electricity. And I'm not saying that to speak that out of a point of privilege and that you guys have that, but it's very important to recognize things that we can be grateful for. And when we practice this form and this level of gratitude, so much value and so much meaning is brought into our lives that things such as being demotivated or not having a purpose sort of becomes a secondary thing or secondary problem. And so I urge everybody to be more grateful on a daily basis as well. I promise you that it's going to make your day so much better. And of course, that pretty much sums up everything that we wanted to talk about with the direction of the competitive athletes. And we went from where we were before to where we currently are now, to slightly tackling about what's in the future. And even if that's unknown and uncertain, we talked about certain insights, certain concepts that you guys can practice on a daily basis to help manage where you are today. And we hope that that was really helpful for all of you. And we hope that you'll keep on listening to us, keep on watching our videos as we move forward. Don't forget to follow us on our Instagram page, our Facebook page, as well as our YouTube channel. And stay tuned for all of our future episodes. With that, I bid everybody farewell. My name is Coach Job of the Dirty South Project. We'll see you guys on the next one.